Ladies and gentlemen, everything in life begins with the unseen. Before the tree, there was the seed. Before the house, there was the blueprint. And before anything manifests in your world, it exists first within your consciousness. Put God first, and everything else will follow. God is not outside of you, nor is he a distant entity watching over your life from afar. God is your very awareness, the essence of your being, the power that animates your thoughts and the force that brings your assumptions into reality. To put God first is to recognize that your consciousness is the true creator of your world. Everything you experience, your successes, your failures, your struggles, and your triumphs, are reflections of the state of consciousness you occupy. Before anything can take form in the outer world, it must first exist within. This is the divine law of creation. Just as a seed holds within it the pattern of the tree, so too does your consciousness hold the blueprint of your life. The life you live today is the result of the thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions you have entertained in the past. If you wish to change your life, you must first change the state from which you operate. Most people live in reaction to the world around them. They see themselves as victims of circumstance, believing that life happens to them rather than through them. But when you understand that your consciousness is God in action, you awaken to a higher truth. You are the cause, not the effect. To put God first is to take full responsibility for the reality you create. It means no longer blaming others, no longer waiting for external change, but instead turning inward to the source of all power. The world you see with your physical eyes is merely a shadow, an echo of the state you hold within. It is not solid, nor is it absolute. It is fluid, ever-changing, and entirely subject to your assumptions. When you put God first, you no longer allow appearances to dictate your beliefs. Instead, you look beyond what is and focus on what can be. You recognize that the only true reality is the one you choose to accept and persist in. This is why it is said, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." Your heart, your subconscious mind, is the storehouse of your deepest beliefs. It does not question or argue, it simply expresses what has been impressed upon it. To put God first is to become conscious of what you are impressing upon your subconscious mind. Are you dwelling on fear, lack, and limitation? Or are you filling your mind with faith, abundance, and success? Every moment of your life you are planting seeds in the garden of creation. Whatever you consistently hold in your awareness will manifest. This is not a matter of chance, nor is it subject to external forces. It is an unbreakable law. If you believe yourself to be weak, the world will reflect weakness. If you see yourself as powerful, life will rise to meet you in that assumption. To put God first means to discipline your mind, to be watchful of your inner conversations, and to consciously align yourself with the highest truth, that all things are possible to the one who believes. It means no longer entertaining doubt or fear, but instead walking with the quiet confidence that what you desire is already yours in the unseen. This shift in awareness is the key to transforming your life. You no longer beg for change, you assume it. You no longer seek approval from the world, you approve of yourself. You no longer wait for signs, you create them. Because when you put God first, when you recognize that your consciousness is one with divine power, you move through life with certainty, knowing that all things are working together for your good. The question is not whether this law is true. The question is, are you using it consciously or unconsciously? Are you deliberately shaping your reality, or are you allowing the world to shape you? To put God first is to live with intention, to align your mind with divine wisdom, and to persist in the knowing that all things are already yours. When you do this, you will see the evidence unfold before you, not as a result of struggle, but as the natural outpouring of the state you have chosen to dwell in. God within you is the source of all things. Recognize this truth and you will never again doubt your power. Imagination is not a fleeting thought or a mere daydream. It is the divine faculty through which all things are made. Every great achievement, every invention, every work of art, and every transformation in the world began as an image in someone's mind. To put God first is to recognize that your imagination is the means through which God expresses himself in your life. You do not receive from the world what you wish for. You receive what you imagine as true. Look around you. Everything you see, the buildings, the technology, the systems of society, was once unseen. It existed first in thought before it became tangible. This is the creative process, the divine law at work. Your imagination is the bridge between the invisible and the visible, the spiritual and the material. When you understand this, you stop relying on the world to dictate what is possible and begin using your mind as the tool for creation. Most people believe that imagination is insignificant, something reserved for children or artists, but this is a misunderstanding of its power. Your imagination is the most sacred and powerful faculty you possess because it determines the reality you experience. If you see yourself as limited, if you imagine failure, if you constantly entertain thoughts of lack and struggle, then your life must reflect those images. But if you assume success, abundance, and joy, if you persistently hold onto the vision of your desired reality, it must come to pass. To put God first means to make your imagination the priority, to trust in its power more than the evidence of your senses. The world you see with your physical eyes is nothing more than a reflection of past imaginations. If you wish to change your life, you must change what you consistently imagine. You must dare to see beyond what is and envision what can be. Whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it and it will be yours. This is not about begging or pleading. It is about assuming the state of already having what you desire. Imagination is the act of faith, the conscious decision to live in the end, knowing that what you see in your mind is just as real, if not more real, than what you see with your eyes. Doubt and fear arise when you rely on external circumstances for confirmation. But those who put God first know that the world is a mirror, and the mirror only changes when the image changes. You do not wait for things to improve. You improve them in your mind first. You do not wait for signs, you create them by persistently dwelling in the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Think of the great minds throughout history, those who changed the world with their vision. They did not wait for permission. They did not let their circumstances define them. They used the power of their imagination, seeing beyond limitations, holding steadfastly to their vision until the world conformed. This is the same power within you. You are not separate from the divine, you are one with it. And to put God first means to recognize that your imagination is God in action. What are you imagining right now? Are you using your divine power to create beauty, success, and joy? Or are you unconsciously allowing fear and doubt to shape your reality? Every moment you are imagining something, whether consciously or unconsciously, and that imagination is forming your world. To put God first is to take control of this faculty, to discipline your mind, and to refuse to dwell in any state that does not align with the life you desire. It means trusting your vision more than external circumstances. It means knowing that when you hold on to an idea with unwavering faith, the entire universe rearranges itself to bring it into being. You are always creating. You cannot stop this process, but you can direct it. Put God first by honoring the divine power of your imagination, and you will see miracles unfold before your eyes. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. This is not a poetic phrase. It is a law of life. Everything you experience in the physical world is the result of what you have accepted as true in your inner world. To put God first means to trust in the unseen more than the seen, to believe in the reality of your desires before they appear in form. It is to know that the power within you is greater than any external condition, and that your faith alone determines what manifests in your life. The world will always try to convince you that you are limited. It will show you evidence of lack, struggle, and failure. And if you accept this evidence as truth, you will continue to experience it. But those who put God first do not live by what they see. They live by what they know within. They understand that the outer world is merely a reflection of past assumptions, and that new assumptions create new realities. If you look at your current circumstances and feel discouraged, it is only because you have given power to appearances instead of to the truth within you. The truth is that you are not bound by what is. You are only bound by what you believe. The moment you change your belief, your world must change to reflect it. To put God first means to place your faith in the power within you rather than in external conditions. It means refusing to be swayed by temporary setbacks, knowing that what you persist in believing will become your reality. It is not about ignoring the world, but about understanding that the world is secondary. The cause of all things is your inner state. Consider a person who constantly worries about money, believing that wealth is hard to attain. Their actions, thoughts, and emotions will align with that belief, and their life will reflect it. They may work harder, struggle more, and yet never seem to get ahead. Why? Because they have placed their faith in lack. Their belief in scarcity shapes their experience, and no amount of effort can override the fundamental assumption they hold within. Now, consider another person who believes in abundance. They do not see wealth as something distant or difficult to achieve. They see it as their natural state. Even before they physically have it, they walk with confidence. They think and act from a place of sufficiency, and the world responds in kind. Opportunities appear, doors open, and circumstances shift to match their inner conviction. This is not coincidence, it is certainty in the unseen. It is the knowing that what you desire already exists in a higher dimension, and that your belief is the bridge that brings it into form. To put God first means to trust in this process completely, to rest in the assurance that what you seek is already yours. Doubt and fear come when you rely on external validation. If you wait for evidence before you believe, you will never receive what you desire. The world does not give you proof first. You must create the proof within yourself. This is why the instruction has always been to believe that you have already received and then you shall have it. To live by faith is to walk with the confidence that the unseen is more real than the seen. It is to persist in your vision even when circumstances suggest otherwise. It is to put God first by aligning with His law, knowing that your assumption, when held unwaveringly, must become your experience. The choice is always yours. You can put your faith in the world, in limitations, in struggle, and in lack, or you can put your faith in the divine power within you. One path leads to frustration, the other leads to fulfillment. Those who put God first know that nothing external has power over them. Only their own state of consciousness determines their reality. When you fully accept this truth, you stop reacting to life and start creating it. You no longer let circumstances dictate your beliefs. Instead, your beliefs dictate your circumstances. And as you persist in the conviction that what you desire is already yours, you will see the world transform before your eyes, not by chance, but by the inevitable law of faith. To put God first is to trust that what you desire is already yours. It is to live from the end, to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and to walk in the certainty that what you seek is not something to be attained in the future, but something that already exists in a higher reality. You do not hope for it, you do not beg for it, you claim it as your own. Most people live in a state of waiting. They wait for circumstances to change, for opportunities to appear, for external signs to assure them that what they desire is possible. But those who put God first understand that the outer world is only a reflection of the inner state. To wait is to deny your own power. To hope is to admit uncertainty. The only way to receive is to assume that you already have. This is not about mere positive thinking or wishful dreaming. It is about entering the state of being where your desire is already a reality. If you desire health, you must not see yourself as someone trying to be healed. You must see yourself as already whole. If you desire success, you must not see yourself as someone striving to achieve. You must embody the feeling of already having succeeded. Whatever you persist in assuming will harden into fact. Your senses will try to deceive you. They will show you the current reality, which may contradict what you seek. But to put God first means to trust in the unseen, to ignore appearances, and to remain unwavering in your conviction. You are not bound by what your eyes see. You are bound only by what you accept as true. There is no power outside of you that determines what you can or cannot have. The only thing that matters is the state of consciousness you occupy. If you dwell in lack, life will reflect lack. If you dwell in abundance, life will reflect abundance. The world is your mirror, and it will show you exactly what you assume to be true about yourself. To live in the end means to abandon all doubt. It means no longer looking for evidence or seeking reassurance. It is knowing with absolute certainty that what you desire is already accomplished. You walk differently, you speak differently, and you carry yourself with the confidence of someone who already has what they want. This is why faith is the key. You must trust the unseen reality more than the visible one. You must feel the joy, the gratitude, the relief of already having your desire, even when your senses tell you otherwise. This feeling is the bridge between the invisible and the visible, between the spiritual and the physical. The world will tell you to be realistic. It will insist that you must take action first, that you must struggle, that you must wait. But those who understand divine law know that reality does not come from effort alone. It comes from consciousness. Action is secondary. Assumption is primary. When you live in the end, the right actions will flow naturally from your state of being, without effort or force. You do not chase after what is already yours. You do not beg for what is already given. To put God first means to rest in the knowing that what you seek is not separate from you. You already possess it in consciousness. And because consciousness is the only reality, it must externalize itself in time. There is no need to question when or how it will happen. That is not your concern. Your only task is to remain faithful to the state of already having, to persist in the assumption that it is done. When you do this, life will unfold in ways beyond your comprehension, bringing to you the fulfillment of your desire, not by chance, but by law. Will you believe before you see, or will you wait for the world to convince you? Those who put God first do not wait. They assume, they persist, and they receive. There is no power outside of you that determines the course of your life. Only the power within, the divine presence that operates through your consciousness. To put God first is to recognize that your awareness is the source of all creation, that your imagination is the bridge between the unseen and the seen, that faith is the key to transforming your reality, and that assuming the end is the only way to bring your desires into being. The world will always try to convince you that you are limited, that circumstances control your fate, that what you seek is distant and uncertain. But those who put God first know a higher truth. You do not wait for change, you create it. You do not plead for blessings, you claim them as already yours. You do not seek proof from the world, you provide the proof by your unwavering faith in the unseen reality. Everything you desire already exists in a higher dimension, waiting to be expressed. You are not separate from your dreams, you are one with them. The only requirement is that you assume their reality now, that you persist in the state of already having, that you walk with the quiet confidence of one who knows that all things are working together for their good. The question is not whether this truth is real, the question is whether you will live by it. Will you continue to be a servant of appearances, or will you become the master of your reality? Will you allow the world to dictate your beliefs, or will you rise in the certainty that God within you is the source of all things? To put God first is to live from this truth, to trust it completely, and to never waver in your conviction. When you do, life will bend to your assumptions, and the world will reflect back to you the glory of your own consciousness.